Hello, this is Arthur Melman, your host for this segment of GGG Insights. And today we have with us the Executive Director of Project MOST, which some of us know about and some of us have a lot to learn about, all the things that Project MOST is doing. And today, Rebecca, why don't you just tell us some of the things that, well, before we start off, what's your background? How'd you get to Project MOST?
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to come on to the show. I'm a teacher by trade. I started my teaching career down in Charleston, South Carolina, but grew up on Shelter Island. So
okay.
I moved back to this area and in 2004 and looking for a job, and I found Project MOST. My passion really is just to work with kids. And so Project MOST was a nice fit for me.
Well, did you start Project MOST, or was it?
I did not start Project MOST.
Okay.
I probably came in about two years after it had already been in existence. It started at the John Marshall School solely, and that's where I started. And then we opened the spring school and started our summer program and built our greenhouse.
And when did you become the executive director?
4 years ago.
4 years ago. Oh, okay.
4 years. So I'm a fairly new executive director.
Well, or fairly old, well, fairly good-looking, young,
Yes.
attractive, all these kinds of things.
Thank you.
So tell us some of the things that, I mean, first of all, obviously, Project MOST involves kids and they're happy. And, but what is your goal at Project MOST? What do you try to do? What is your main emphasis?
Our main emphasis is really to teach the kids the joy of learning. I mean, in simple terms. Our programs are focused around arts and culture. They're focused around health and wellness and nutrition. And we do academic assistance and the STEM programming. And we want kids to be engaged in their learning. So hands-on, project-based. We want them to really be excited about learning, and I think Project MOST can do that in a way where there's no pressure for test taking and scores and grades. So kids feel very comfortable and safe in this really great learning environment.
Well, you mentioned helping kids with their schoolwork too. Is that?
It's a big part. It's absolutely a big part of the program. So what happens is the day ends. Their school day will end
At about 3 o'clock?
About 3 o'clock, and they are dismissed to Project MOST. So to my staff here.
So right now they walk through the hall and they get to Project MOST.
And they get to Project MOST.
Okay.
And so they have a snack and they sit down.
So what's a snack? I piqued my curiosity. Is it good? What is it?
Well, we try to provide a healthy snack, so some sort of fruit or yogurt.
No Cokes and ice cream?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately not. But so then after snack, the kids will go into a homework group where the counselors, who are our student leaders, from the high school and college age, they take the groups of kids and they help the kids with homework.
Now, let's say I'm a 7-year-old or whatever I am, an 8-year-old. When I go into that room, are there kids from my class in that room, or is it my homeroom class, or is it broken? Depends on how many kids you have.
The kids stay in their groups. So all first grade is together. All second grade is together.
Okay.
So that first grade group will travel to a classroom and they'll sit down. They'll get their books open and they'll start their homework. And they have two counselors in there that will help them and assist them.
Now, how about the interaction? Is there ever any interaction between the counselors of Project MOST, who are not teachers, I guess, and teachers in the school itself?
So we have a site director on site before the school day ends. So the communication, so at 1:30, my site director goes, and any communication regarding homework, things that we may need to know about the children are kind of communicated through that site director. And then when our staff, who are the student leaders, and they're the high school and counselors and college age kids that we hire to work with the kids, so any communication will sort of go from the site director to them.
Oh, okay. So they have an idea of what the school classroom is teaching literally that day.
They do. Yes.
And do the kids stay in this, we'll call it homework-centric group, for any particular time, or do they eventually wander out and do something else on an individual basis, or does the whole group say, okay, now the instruction period has ended, let's go have fun? Or
You
something?
know, we'll do homework for about 30 to 45 minutes a day, and
Right.
then we end whether the child is done or not, because you know it's time to move on to fun activities, you know,
Yeah.
which we think are fun. So they'll move on to whether it's an art class
Oh,
or
so you have art classes. Do you have art teachers, or how does that work?
we have both. So we have one art teacher from the school who works with us, but then we also hire.
Well, you brought some pictures. I hope that the people in the control room are watching close enough to realize we'd like to see some of these pictures, but you know,
So-
I don't see them popping up, so I guess there's a problem.
We also hire artists, and that's a big part of what we do.
Oh,
is
here's an art group.
Great.
Okay.
We hire professionals in their field. So the picture that you're looking at is a stained glass artist from Sag Harbor, and so she comes in and will do mosaic stained glass with the kids.
Is one of those the teachers? One of
No,
those?
no, those are all students.
Okay, I thought that was a very young teacher.
No, those are all students.
Now,
so-
are most of your or many of your art projects like that, where there's a group activity?
No.
Yeah, that's unusual.
That's unusual. For the mosaics, we have done group art activities, but we have a pottery teacher who comes in on Fridays, and the kids create their own, piece of work, whatever they're doing that week. We just started to work with an illustrator, a draw, or
Line drawer.
Right. So it varies throughout the year, and the way it's structured is that these people make work in like a 4-week, 1 hour, so the kids get it for 1 hour for the 4 weeks, and then their project.
Now, if I say I'm the art teacher, do I spend 2 days at John Marshall and 2 days at Springs the same week, or how does this work? I mean, you're coordinating 2 different locations.
It actually it
And
works.
you haven't got any gray hair, so I guess you must. I guess you know how
thank
to
you.
do it.
We've been doing it for a long time, so yes, and I have an education director who maps out pretty much the whole year. It varies. So our dance teachers are there all year long. They come on Tuesdays. They'll spend 8 weeks at John Marshall, and then they'll go to Springs for another 8 weeks.
Oh, okay. So
and
it's
then
not
they
Monday.
rotate back.
It's not Monday. It's John Marshall, and Tuesday. It's
No,
it's more continuous.
Right. So sometimes our art teacher or our artist in residence, as we call it, might be just working with an older group of students, say 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So that might just be focused at the spring school for a 4-week period. We have a photography class going on right now, which is for that group, and it's just for the spring students as of right now. So every program we do varies a
Is
little
tailored to
bit,
the school, yeah.
and is tailored to the kids and the program. And
Well, one of the things that I've got lots of grandchildren, so I've gone to lots of homerooms in the last 5 or 6 years, and whenever I go to a homeroom or any room in the grade schools, always things all over the walls and all the kids did, and they show them off. It seems to me that you've got a little problem. You've got no walls.
we have no
After
walls.
after 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
Right, we're in a shared space. We've been a partner with both school districts for the past 18 years, and then we have to pack up and leave.
Well, the other thing I noticed when I went to these homerooms is that the teachers have the cubby holes for the kids over there. They have the green pencils over there, and God forbid the green pencils aren't over there. So your kids are wandering around these classrooms, and they're not trying to steal anything. They just pick up a pencil and put it in a different place. I
Right.
mean, that's got to be a little harrowing for the teacher the next day
It-
when he or she comes in and finds the green pencils are in the box of green pencils.
There have definitely been some problems, but we have a nice relationship with both schools, and we just work it out, So if, let's say, the pencil sharpener is broken by accident,
Yeah, sure.
we replace the pencil sharpener. Has there been frustrations? Absolutely.
course, there's always frustrations, yeah.
Absolutely. So, but we work it out the best way we can. So
Now, you mentioned to me, I think, sometime about some planting program where you plant your own food or
Yeah.
make your own food?
We have a really, really great organic garden and greenhouse at the Spring School.
Oh.
And one of our main focuses of our program is a healthy lifestyle, you know, health and wellness. And so we do.
There are a bunch of kids on the street behind you now
Yes,
who are chopping away.
That's our cooking program, and it's probably the most successful. The kids love it. They're actually picking from the greenhouse or the garden, and they're bringing it in, and they're making. We have a nutritionist and a chef who comes in and works with the kids
Now,
on a regular basis.
Do parents get involved with any of your activities?
Well, in the past couple of years, we've started to do some family programming, and so absolutely.
Oh, there's a mother.
That is our.
I think.
It is.
Or an aunt or somebody.
A mother and a daughter, and that's our family art class going on. So we do family art and family cooking classes, and
I'm sure the fathers are more interested in the family cooking class.
they do.
They
More
do.
of the dads come, but it's great because this is the day and age of the digital devices, and you can be trapped in your own little world even when you're at home on your digital device. So this is a really great way for families to come together to work on a project themselves with their kids and really be a part of their children's learning, which is exciting.
Well, the only problem with that is many parents work. When are they supposed to come to Project Most to work with their child?
We do it at the end of the day, so we'll extend our hours. So,
What are your normal? I'm sorry. What are your normal hours?
Sure.
Basically, after school is when? About 3 o'clock?
Normal hours are 3 to 6.
Oh, okay.
So a parent-child class might start at 5:30 and run till 7:30.
Oh, okay. And if the parent comes a half hour late because he or she's
Fine.
trying to fight traffic on 27, so be it.
Absolutely. We're very flexible. And being in a shared space and, knowing that our families have, so many different schedules and things going on, we have to be flexible.
Now, do you do anything on weekends too?
We've started to, absolutely. We wrote a really nice grant to the Paddlers for Humanity Foundation, who gave us an arts and culture grant. So part of that grant is to take some trips to New York City.
Oh.
In December, the kids they studied ancient Egypt during Project Most Hours, and it ended with a Saturday trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
How long was the program of study for Egypt?
They did about 4 sessions.
4 sessions.
4 sessions, and then when they got to the museum, they had a scavenger hunt ready for them to go, and so they broke up in groups, and they had their paper and a little scavenger hunt of things that they needed to find in the museum.
Oh, that's great.
And they loved it. So many kids don't have the opportunities to go to New York to see the big museums.
And this was a Saturday?
And this was a Saturday.
And who were the chaperones? Were parents chaperones? Or
No, some parents did go, but my education director took it on, and she went, and then we had some of our student leaders go, who are our counselors during the day, go.
And Paddlers basically underwrote this program?
That was one of the things that we wrote in our grant for them to do.
Now, I hate to be mundane, but it costs money to run these things.
Absolutely.
What's your annual budget?
It's around $1 million.
And how much of that comes from? Are there state funds or how?
Yes, we receive 2 New York State Advantage after school grants, which makes up about 43% of our budget.
So about $450,000 more or less. And then do the school districts, besides giving you the facilities, do they write checks or?
The school district contributes. East Hampton School District does. Springs contributes a very minimal amount. This year, that amount is paying for a security guard in the building. East Hampton Town contributes to our budget financially, but parents pay about 37% of our budget.
Now, any kids? I assume no kids are turned away because the parent lacks the funds. I mean,
No, and we work with the schools and the social workers, and if there's a real family in need, we know that.
What is the full tuition? If I'm
Sure.
If I want-
It's $180 a month. So
okay.
it works out to be $45 a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for full price for a child, for a family.
Yeah, no, I
for a
understand
family.
that, yeah.
But then we
Slide
work
over.
on a sliding scale. So many of our families, many of them. I don't even know the percentage, or on
Right.
some sort of sliding scale.
Now,
So-
besides art and culture and studying Egypt and homework, are there physical activities that the kids do?
Sure, absolutely. You know, and we do double Dutch jump roping.
Oh,
with the
okay. I guess
kids.
we now have a picture of kids who are not sitting at desks.
No,
Okay.
we do a great yoga program the kids love.
You never ask boys to do double Dutch. I was never able to do single Dutch, let alone double Dutch.
You know, the double Dutch they love. It's everyone.
Everyone can
Everyone
do it?
from
Okay.
kindergarten all the way up love the double Dutch jump roping.
I would love to be able to do it. I just can't do it. I mean, that's my problem.
You know, the funny thing is that the instructor comes from Islip.
Really?
She drives all the way out here because she loves it and she wants kids to learn. And she's a champion herself.
How did you find this wonderful person? I mean,
You know, I don't even remember. She might have found us and seeked us out.
Wow.
But it's been a fabulous program. We've had her for at least 3 years now, and so once a week she comes out for the program hours, and she teaches. You know, she'll spend 6 or 8 weeks at one school, and then the other 6 or 8 weeks goes to the other school, and she'll work with all the kids.
Well, if you had your wish list for Project, let me ask it differently. What are your plans for Project Most for the next 2 years, 5 years?
So Project Most wants to keep growing and expanding. You know, we have a fabulous summer program, and we're only able to have it for the month of July because we're on school grounds, and you know, the custodians need to clean the schools in the summertime. We can only do half day because of the school schedule.
Well, how do you
So-
compare? How do you compare with the Y? I was very surprised that the Y. I didn't realize that Y had a summer camp and starts at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
Goes to 7 o'clock at night. or
So our
something.
summer program will start at 8:30, and
That's much more civilized. But unfortunately, it's not
But
great if I have to go to
parents-
work at 7. you
Parents
know?
are working,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we would love our own space. You know, we would like to be thought
Well,
as.
how does your, well, I'm sorry for interrupting,
Okay.
but how does your summer program work for that 1 month?
Oh, for the 1 month.
Yeah.
So it goes from 8:30 to 1,
Mm-hmm.
1 or 1:30, I can't really remember. And it's focused on organic gardening. It's a learning program. We call it a summer learning program. Environmental studies. We go down to the East Hampton Shellfish Hatchery, and the kids will learn about the
okay.
reseeding of the shellfish. We work with the group for the East End, and they'll take them to the beach to do the seining projects. And they'll do their cooking groups. They actually cook their own lunches.
Oh, that's great.
Which is really fabulous. So, and the kids love it, but the parents need a longer day. And
Well, I was just going to say, it seemed to me that very few parents are around
Right.
at 8:30,
So-
and they're not around certainly at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you've really,
right, and so we have a
boxed
small.
in.
It's so. It was about 50 or 60 kids that signed up. And, you know, a babysitter had to come get them in the afternoons, or they walked, since we were on school, at the spring school, they walked over to this youth building over there behind in the town. The town runs a program there, and so they walked over there for the afternoon.
yeah, I was just going to ask, it seemed to me to be logical as we were talking that since the WISE program starts at 7 a.m. and I gather goes essentially to 7 a.m., kids could be dropped off at the Y program, and those kids who wanted to, or parents who wanted to, could have them brought over to your program for 3 or 4 hours, and then back to the Y, which has.
But then there's transportation, so somebody's
Well, I was
gotta do the
thinking of John Marshall,
transportation.
where you walk to the
Oh,
Y.
okay. Yeah, if it was at John Marshall, it would be
Yeah.
a lot easier, but it's.
Yeah, I don't think we want too
many
many kids hitchhiking to the spring school and to the Y.
Right. No, that would be hard. So,
Mm-hmm.
so we would love to be able to run a full summer program,
Mm-hmm.
and give the families and the kids the opportunity to continue, you know, our summer learning program. What we do, we feel it's a really fabulous program. We'd like to extend our programming to school vacations. Not everyone goes away on vacation,
Yeah.
and the kids are still here. And
Well, most parents are working
Why-
pretty
why
hard in the
not
summertime.
why not
in East
engage
Hampton.
them?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. It seemed to me that one of the things I've heard was that while John Marshall's core class sizes are going down because there are fewer kids. It's the opposite in the spring, so that
It is.
I mean, the
yes.
springs. Everybody knows the springs is bursting out of space, and
It
what hap-
absolutely is. And we feel it. You know, with Project Most, we're very limited as to what classrooms we can use. We don't have any gym space over there because of the middle school sports that happen. You know, it's so we're feeling the struggles that the spring school feels with the building. And that is one of the reasons why, in order for Project Most to expand and grow to what we would love it to be, finding our own space is important.
Well, there's a new building the town is buying at the moment, I think, or
Right.
bought. I'm not sure what the verb is, bought or buying or will be buying or whatever. You know, your program only starts at 3 o'clock, so that there's sort of an empty building from 9 o'clock to.
Sure. Well, we are going to submit a proposal to the town for the lease of the CDCH building, and you know, we're looking at Project Most to be more of a community center that runs an after-school program.
I see.
So we're not looking to just be an after-school program anymore. You know, that I feel like it was a really smart move the town did. That whole area could be a center for
Family activity,
for
basically.
families, for community, for multi-generational programming. I think there's a need for other, not just Project Most, but other organizations in the town for space. You know, you're right that our program starts in the afternoon, and who could be in there in the mornings? Well,
In terms of that space, one of our shows was on seniors and their needs as that population grows dramatically, and over the next next 10 years, it's going to grow dramatically as people get older. By definition, hopefully people get older. And have you ever had any interest in, or have you tried to get any grandparents, what I'm talking about is obviously seniors,
sure.
Involved in any of your programs with the kids?
We have had some seniors do volunteer activities with us.
Yeah.
There was one wonderful lady who came throughout the week to help in our greenhouse and in our garden. She had a horticulture, you know, love, and so she came and worked with the kids.
When I mentioned this to the Reverend of the Father at the Holy Trinity, who was another one of us, he gave me a very important piece of advice, and that was vetting. Some old people like myself may not have the most patience in the world and can say
Right.
the wrong thing. I may want to help, but I could make a mess of things. So
Sure.
you got to be careful as to who you take in and how they react to kids and whether they're patient enough.
Right, absolutely, and for us, the safety of the children
Sure, yeah,
is
yeah.
number one. And actually, we fall under the Office of Children and Family Services regulations, so there are a lot of background checks and things like that our staff is required to have.
Well, when you talk about getting this, or getting part of, or all of this new town facility, how would the kids get there? I mean,
Well,
parents aren't available to drive them over for the most part at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right, and those are all questions and things that we need to discuss and with the school districts. In other areas of the country where there may not be after-school programs located on site where the school based, the schools will bus the
Okay.
kids to the
So instead of
site.
dropping Johnny off at his house or near his house, they drop off Johnny, Mary, Sally, whatever.
Right, they drop off a whole busload. But those are all conversations to be had. And because we fall under these OCFS guidelines, that those guidelines will actually dictate how many children we can actually have in that building at one time. So the health department may say you could have 300 people in that building, but because we're OFC in compliance, they may say you can only have 100. And
okay.
and it's based on a classroom size ratio and bathroom ratio per kid. So so there's a lot of kind of questions and unknowns that we would have to work out and really see. There could be possible scenarios where there might be some satellite programs. So maybe if we couldn't have all the kids there, there would still be a small satellite program at the John Marshall School or at the Spring School as well.
But if you had your own facility, a lot of the things that the schools now do for you, security guard, janitor, plumber to come and fix the plumbing.
I know.
those things all would fall on you.
They would fall on us, absolutely.
You know, they all cost money. I mean, have you thought of how much more of your budget would be if you had your own facility, including fixing the roof and
It's
cleaning out not cleaning the toilets, but you know,
those
fixing
are the
plumbing.
questions that keep me up at night. Not the great programming. It is absolutely. We would have to take on those costs and
yeah.
those responsibilities. And you know, we've never run our own building before. It's definitely a big step that we would be taking. But I also feel that Project Most sort of needs to grow in this direction. I feel that you know, if we stay as is.
Staying as is never the right move.
And
It's
I almost
always,
feel like, you know, you start to go backwards in a way. And
Yeah.
and for instance, we will not have our summer program this year because the spring school is under construction.
Okay.
And they will dig up our outdoor garden.
Rebecca,
So-
our time is running out. I
Oh,
hope
no.
to talk to you more. But meanwhile, we hope we will tell everybody you're having a fundraiser.
Oh, we have a fabulous fundraiser. It's our 10th annual Empty Bowls, March 10th. It's a fabulous soup fundraiser. So
And this is the most soup you can eat? Is
the
there any
most
limit?
soup you can. No, you can.
Let's see, it
You
start-
bring your bowl and you can eat as much soup as you want.
What time? I missed that.
It's from, I'm sorry, it's from 12, starts at 12 o'clock, 12 to 3 at the American Legion Hall in Amagansett.
So I can have soup at 12, play some things, come back, have more soup at 3?
Have more soup at 3, if we don't sell out, because we've been known to sell out.
Oh, so I better come at 2:30 for the second bowl of soup.
People who have been coming for the past 10 years know to come right at 12 to get
Oh,
the good
okay.
soup.
Really terrific, Rebecca, seriously.
Thank
Really,
you so much.